All right. I'm Shelby Kimball. I am the immediate past president of the Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors. I'm a broker, and I am a former home inspector as well. And we are, this is our third installment of the Homebuyers program. And I'm glad, as like I said, I've seen a lot of people who are multiple time attendees. So welcome back. And we'll have one more next Tuesday about the closing process. But today we are going to be talking about protecting your investment. So we're talking about the home inspection process, and we have Alexis Sparkles Belt with Green Scene Home Inspections, and she'll be talking about that. And then we'll talk about homeowners insurance, and we have Justin Chickle with Texas Classic Insurance, and he'll be telling you all about that. And then Angela Thurwanger will tell you a little bit about home warranties and how they can help you. So we'll hit these topics, and then we'll open it up for questions for any of us. Please feel free. You can put it in chat, and we'll keep, if you'll stay on mute until we're done. And just like I said, you can put questions in chat or ask at the end. We also have Priscilla Miller with Trinity Habitat, and she's going to tell you also about a really cool program they have for first-time homeowners. So, and with that, I will hand it over to Sparkles.
Hi guys, welcome. I hope everybody's doing great today. It is gorgeous outside. I hope everybody gets a chance to go out for lunch in a little bit and enjoy the weather. So hands up, how many of you guys have had a home inspection before? Okay, cool. So a few of you. Okay, so when you are purchasing a home, what you're going to do is you're going to need to, well, hopefully your realtor will suggest this. Most of the time they do, but in this market, it's a little crazy, but you need a home inspection. So what we'll do is we'll come look at the home. We'll tell you all the conditions about the home the day that we went out and inspected it. And that kind of gives you as a buyer a heads up of what you're getting into when you purchase this house, as far as what possible repairs will come from this, what you can negotiate with the sellers as far as, safety conditions, whether it's cosmetic, did somebody just put lipstick on a pig and you want more money from them because you're going to have to do a lot more work, etc. So what to expect from when a home inspector comes and looks at the house. So the inspector is going to put the house through a stress test. Basically, they're going to try and maximize everything that the house has to offer, all of the operating systems. It'll address everything from the dirt underneath the house to the sky above the roof. We're very thorough. Unfortunately, inspectors, we're the bad guys. We're the guys that come in and tell you all the crappy things about the house. However, this is for your safety, for your knowledge, so that you know, again, what you're getting into when you purchase this house. It will also help you decide whether you want to go through with this purchase or not, depending on the condition of the house, if it's good, bad, needs a little work, needs a whole lot of work, etc. So the inspection, depending on the size of the house and the condition of the house, generally takes 3 to 4 hours to complete. And then the inspection report takes about 1 to 2 hours to finish writing up. So directly after the inspection, the clients end up coming to a review most of the time with the inspector, where the inspector will go over everything that they found. Sometimes a realtor comes, sometimes the buyers don't come, especially if they're out of state. There's really no reason for you to have to come all the way here, because we do a video included with our inspection reports, so that it makes it a little bit more intimate. It makes you feel like you were there. Dirt under the house, that means checking the foundation. Yes, absolutely. And so some of these older houses, usually before 1960s, 1950s, 40s and earlier, they'll have crawl spaces. So they'll have a pier and beam foundation, which means it wasn't built on a concrete slab like today's houses are mostly built. So there's a space between the bottom, the floor of the house and the ground below, where the inspector will crawl through and find all the snakes and the spiders and the ghosts and creepy things underneath the house. No, we'll look at it. We'll let you know the conditions of the foundation, the piers and the beams that are underneath the house that hold everything up, what those look like, if they're in good condition, if they need some work, if the foundation's a little off, and we recommend having a specialist come out. So with that being said, We'll have you guys come and we'll tell you everything about the house, and we'll let you know which of those top 5 categories. Those top 5 categories are going to be your foundation, your roof, your plumbing, your electrical, and then your HVAC systems, your heating and air conditioning systems. So we will let you know of those 5 categories, what needs to have further evaluation, and have a specialist, an expert, a licensed professional come out and look at those. And then most of the time, they'll be able to give you some price estimates for those as well. So it's definitely important to be scheduling the inspection during the first few days of the option periods so that you have enough time to get those licensed professionals and experts out to look at those top 5 categories. And the biggest thing is that inspectors look for what's damaged, what's broken, what's unsafe. We're not looking for, scratches in the wall. We're not looking for any cosmetic issues, paint chips. We're not looking for anything like that. If the windows aren't in style, we're looking for, are they leaking a bunch of air? Do they need more weather stripping? Are the windows broken? So we're going to be looking at all the stuff that's going to affect you as the homeowner and keep you safe in the house. So generally inspections will cost anywhere between $300 to $500, depending on the size of the property. There can also be ancillary fees if there is a swimming pool. Some charge for those crawl space inspections, where we get under the house, because it takes a lot of extra time. We got to put on our little spidey suits, our safety suits, to make sure that we're not being bitten by those spiders. So there are those ancillary services, if there's any detached structures like a detached garage from the house, or the guest house in the back, the mother-in-law suite. Sometimes those will have electrical, sometimes those will have plumbing, sometimes they'll just be the shack itself, and we can go look at that and check all of that for you. There's also wood destroying insect reports. A lot of times if you have a veterans loan, or if you're under a VA loan, you'll be required to have a wood destroying insect report. Most inspection companies will look at that for you and let you know. However, if you are under a VA loan and you have all these underlying conditions and you do need that separate state official report, almost everybody offers that as well. I know we do. There's also other things that you can have done to the house to be inspected, such as mold screenings, indoor air quality checks, along with the foundations. Again, with those 5 categories, sorry, that's my dog. We're going to recommend that you have one of those licensed professionals come out from those top 5 categories. However, we do offer elevations, which is where we take that zip line tool and we go through the house and we measure all the elevations in the corners and in the centers of the house, and let you know the inch differences of how far the house is bending one way or the other, and if it's level or not. So we can do moisture analysis, infrared and thermal imaging, which is where we take it's kind of like on those ghost TV shows. If you remember those from back in the day, where they take those like nighttime vision cameras and then the like rainbow colored looking cameras, and they go through the house and they're showing you all the temperature differences. So that's what an infrared and a thermal camera is going to do. It's going to help you look for all of the energy deficiencies in the house. So like if you're looking at a window and you see the different colors around the outsides of it, it'll help you understand if there's a leak, the air is coming through, that you need to have checked out, or possibly ask for more money to have repaired from the sellers when you're negotiating that contract before closing. So generally, as far as cost goes, with all these awesome ancillary services and inspection companies offer, it's wise to tell your clients or yourselves as the first-time home buyer, or not first-time home buyers, as the home buyers, to budget for about $1,000 just to be on the safe side in case there are these underlying conditions that you know of beforehand that you want to go ahead and have checked out, like the foundations, the moisture, the thermal analysis, and all of that. And then lastly, should I expect the seller to fix everything? Wouldn't that be great? That'd be nice. No, unfortunately, the seller does have the right to refuse anything, because generally the house is being sold as is according to that contract. So especially if the seller has disclosed any items that are broken or damaged, it's up to the buyer's agent and the listing agent to negotiate those items that pop up from the inspection report. So again, items that we're going to be writing down are not the cosmetics, or they're going to be the items that are going to need to be negotiated are items that are broken, damaged, items that are causing damage to the property, or items that are safety issues. So if it falls in one of those top 5 categories, again, which is the foundation, the plumbing, the HVAC, the electrical, and the roof, if it falls within those top 5 categories, those are the licensed specialists that are needed to further evaluate and then can give you those cost estimates. So either they will get fixed showing repair receipts, or money is then negotiated off the price of the house. So those are really the top 3 things. How much will it cost? You know, 300 to 500. Again, with those ancillary services, you want to have some extra money on the side just to be safe. Should you expect the seller to fix everything? No. Again, they have the right to refuse, but if it's in the top 5 categories, you have the power to negotiate with your agents. And then what to expect is all the thorough looking from up and down, in and out, from the dirt to the sky. So those are the 3 main things about inspections that you want to kind of pay attention to. Do I have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Sparkles. That was awesome. Yeah, as we say, everything is negotiable.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if anybody does have questions, put them in chat or raise your hand. And that was super informative. And we'll go to Angela Thurwinger with American Home Shield. She'll talk a little bit about home warranties.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Shelby. Thank you, Sparkle. That was cool. So now, once you have your inspection done and you move in, I'm going to talk to you mainly. Well, first, I guess I should tell you who I am. I'm Angela Thurwinger. I'm the account executive for American Home Shield in the Fort Worth area. American Home Shield founded the home warranty industry. We're the leaders in the industry, and we're celebrating 50 years this year. So we're kind of excited about that. I'm 24 years with them. So, you know, hopefully we have some information to share with you. All right, let's get into what you're interested in. Amanda, do you want to go on to the next page, and we'll talk about their interest. So first of all, the first thing that I'm usually asked is what's the difference between a home warranty and homeowners insurance? And I am going to speak in very general terms about homeowners insurance because that is not my area of expertise. That is Justin's. He will be coming along behind me to clean up anything I say. So the difference mainly between home warranty and homeowners insurance is what we do. So in general terms, a homeowner's insurance typically is focused on damage to structure and the damage. So they're looking at that roof and foundation that Sparkle just talked about. The home warranty is the scope of our coverage is limited to the mechanical functions. So that's going to be that HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and then we throw in the appliances as well. So the mechanical function of the home, and we are limited to actual failure breakdown that occurs due to normal wear and tear. So that's kind of a high level difference between the home warranty and the homeowner's insurance. Hopefully you'll have some questions and we'll get into detail in the question and answer section. And you can go on and hit us up with the next one, typical home warranty cost and coverage. So as I said, it's the mechanical function. Typically that is going to be your HVAC, plumbing, electrical, water heater. Those are your systems. And then add to that built-in appliances. That's typically your oven, cooktop, range, dishwasher, garbage disposal, those items in the kitchen. And then to that, you can add typically the washer, dryer, refrigerator. Sometimes it's covered in the main plan. Sometimes it is covered as an option. So you can expect the dwelling coverage to usually run anywhere from about $500 to $700. And then there are optional coverages that are available also for things that are pretty common, but not included in every home, like maybe pools, spas, that MIL or mother-in-law unit that Sparkle mentioned, also septic wells. So there are some other items that can be added on to the dwelling policy. Then there's typically a trade call fee in the, trade call fee. So when you place a work order and you have a contractor come out, that can range anywhere from I've heard of $50 up to $100. So 75 is pretty common. You can count on that. And then finally, if we can hit that last one, the benefits of the home warranty. So this is where we kind of marry home inspection. So the reality of home ownership is that when a property changes use, changes ownership, that changes the use. And that just creates a natural phenomenon that creates some failures. It's not because the home inspector missed anything. It's not because the seller failed to disclose something. It's just about the home being used differently. So if a family of four sells her home to a single person, that single person is going to move in, use the home differently, and that just naturally results in some failures. It's not, the home, kind of has its own personality, and it's not being used the way it's accustomed to. And so there are generally some failures. Just got a question that, will the seller pay for it? So now we get into market questions. So typically in a balanced market, the home warranty is a negotiable item. It is negotiated between the buyer and seller. In a balanced market, typically the homeowner does offer to reimburse the buyer for their home warranty of choice. We are not living in a typical market, so I can leave that for a real estate discussion. But depending on what your realtor recommends to you, you might be willing to ask for the warranty, and the seller may very well be willing to provide it. Again, in a balanced market, that's a customary process. In the market we're living in today, things are being left out of the home warranty that are not actually required by the lender, just to keep the contracts lean and clean. So, finally, as we're talking about the benefits, then, of course, the biggest benefit of the home warranty is that budget protection. When you've just purchased your home, put all your savings into your down payment, especially if you're buying in this market, you might not have just a whole lot left over. And so definitely the home warranty comes in as a budget protection. When those items fail, you place a call to your home warranty company of choice. They send out a contractor. They cover what is covered under the warranty, and then you may cover whatever is not covered by the home warranty. We could spend days talking about shared cost, and happy to answer all of those questions. And then finally, one of the kind of, peripheral benefits is the fact that most buyers, as they move into a home, do not have a list of contractors. And so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to call everybody, call your realtor and try to find, trying to vet your own contractors. You have one place to go for your systems and appliances, and we're going to dispatch that contract to you. What is the cost of a home warranty? Again, that can range from about $500 to $700 for a basic plan. That's going to be your dwelling, those items that are located within the main foundation. And then you can add on coverages for things outside the home, for things like pools, spas, mother-in-law units, septic systems, the things that are pretty common, but not customary in every home. So that's pretty high overview, and hopefully, again, we'll get into some details in questions, or feel free to jot down my contact information. I am happy to help you with any questions about home warranties in general. Happy to help educate you. So great. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Angela. We appreciate it. And if y'all just want to write questions down or whatever, feel free to. But we'll go to Justin with Texas Classic Insurance.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Still waiting on that coffee to kick in. But those ladies did great. Angela, I think you did a great job explaining the differences between home warranty and home insurance. Typically, what I say to people is, think of a home warranty for like those little couple $100 of repairs, those little scratch and dings, and insurance is designed to be used sparingly, more of that disaster where you're looking at thousands of dollars of damage, like that freeze, for example, that we had a little while back. So I was one of those victims as well. But today we're going to talk about a couple things on home insurance, how to determine the pricing of one and what's the best way to do that, and also clue reports. So we'll go to the next slide here for that one. So question: what is the best way to determine how much home insurance will cost? And on the next slide is your answers. always use an insurance broker, or at least very start with that. Not saying you have to use one every single time, but there's a couple points. If we can bring those up on screen, should be 5 of them total. And the first one is we help you find the best rate in less time. So the other option besides using an insurance broker is making a dozen calls to various insurance companies and writing everything down to comparison. But even then, you're bound to have questions that are going to require follow-up phone calls or emails. So what would take a home buyer 3 weeks to do on their own, we can do for them in less than an hour, start to finish. That includes from taking the information, shopping it out, and in some cases, binding it right then and there if it's the 11th hour and they need a miracle. And another thing you have to think about when you're calling 26 different companies, you're going to get 26 different agents hounding you 17 times a day until you say yes, no, or please go away. And versus using a broker, you have one person that is going to give you 26 different options. Now, I'm not going to say that we have the best price every time. There are plenty of instances where we're consulting with a client and they say, well, I think this quote is better, but I'm not really sure. And in that instance, I will happily review it for them and say, you know what, looking over this, I don't see anything that I would object to. And in fact, if I was in your position, knowing what I would know, this is the option I would go with. So unless something changes miraculously right at the end, I would say go with that one, and we could check again next year to see if that's still the best option. And speaking of options, number 2, we offer more choices. Now, when buyers look for insurance, most assume that going directly to the insurance company is going to be cheaper. And while this strategy might work when you're buying clothes directly from the manufacturer, it doesn't always work with insurance. And I'd argue so far as saying by having multiple options with an industry expert in your corner, that actually places you in a better position of control as you research all your options. Kind of like when you have if you're a listing agent, you're kind of going over all those options with your client and say, based on these offers, this is kind of the top 2, and for reasons A, B, and C. And plus, insurance brokers can also provide exclusive access to some carriers that aren't actually available directly to consumers. For example, our top new construction carrier that is almost always the best rate and value for new build homes doesn't offer direct access to consumers, which means the only way to get their policy, if a client were to contact them directly, they would say, terribly sorry, we can't even give you a quote. You'd have to go through an independent agent. Here are the top 2 choices if you would like, and then just direct you on that way. And speaking of, next point, number 3, we offer impartiality. Now, it's essential that insurance brokers remain impartial so that we can best advise you on policy, loopholes, coverage, and carriers' claimability and satisfaction and whatnot. Sometimes just because they're A-rated doesn't mean they're doing a really good job of paying out their claims. And the best brokers will stop using those companies if things start to go south. You can get honest advice and information that are in your best interest as a client, not the insurance companies, since we don't actually work for any of them. We just offer their products. Plus, retaining objectivity is a vital component of my business. As we all know, it is much, much harder to sell a product when you know it blows. And for realtors, think of it this way, kind of like a loan officer. I work as an extension of your industry, the extension of your business from one industry expert to another. Which brings me on to number 4. We offer free expert advice. Now, whether you're insuring a 10-year-old car or $1 million home, your broker is going to have the inside information about insurance companies and their products that'll help you pick the right coverage. Sometimes having a higher deductible, if DTI is really tight, might be a good strategy if the trade-off is worth it. But in other situations, it might not be the best way to go if you're dumping all your savings into the down payment just to get this home closed. And without this expert assistance, there's always the higher risk of getting the wrong coverage, which can be very costly in the long term, especially when it comes time to make a claim. And a good broker is going to advise you accurately without costing you more. And one thing you also need to touch on real quick is as you're interviewing brokers, if you're starting that, then you want to ask what they charge for their services, because not everyone does that. Some do, some don't. So just ask what they charge for that. And number 5 is we're always working for you, not the insurance company. Now, like I touched on before, we act in the best interest of the policyholders, our clients, not the insurance company. Now, communications can often dwindle as soon as an insurance company signs you up. Most likely you won't even hear from them until renewal time if you're lucky, but brokers are with you in the long term because we want that long lasting relationship, kind of like a realtor would with their clients. They want repeat business. And the best brokers are always looking downstream for potential changes. Like if a company is about to go belly up in the middle of your policy term, we can get ahead of it and switch your policy to a new carrier ahead of time before things really start to go south to prevent, something like a lapse in coverage happening. We're actually doing that right now with one of our carriers who I'm not going to name, Anchor, is we're using that time in the winter as it gets a little bit slower, but still busy. We use that extra spare time to remarket clients and take care of that for them. And on to number 2, the next slide, clue reports will be our next topic. And question, what is a clue report? Next slide, comprehensive loss underwriting exchange. Didn't come up with it, but nice acronym. And a clue report is going to provide a history of insurance claims that are tied to a property. Typically, this time span is going to be about 5, in some cases 7 years. It's going to include things like the date of the loss, what kind of loss it was, like if it was hail, water, freeze, how much was paid for it, along with general information like, you know, the name of the policyholder, the address it was tied to, the claim number, insurance company name, and so on. Now, why is this important? Number 2 is going to be insurance companies use this report to assist in determining policy rates for insurance. They review any claims that are presently tied to the home and decide how much one might pay for homeowners insurance, whether it's a surcharge for a number of claims or a discount if it's claims free. In some cases, they might not even extend coverage at all. So for example, if you have a hail claim, that was what we consider a catastrophic loss. It's not like the homeowner can pick up their home and move it out of the way of the hailstorm, so they're not going to really surcharge them for that. Same thing with the freeze. But if there's plumbing that's failing, like there's 2 water losses that aren't appliance related, it can make it very, very hard for someone to get a policy. And if they are able to get one, it's usually pretty expensive. You just kind of have to take your licks. But number 3 here, between buyers and sellers can actually both benefit this. Buyers can benefit by discovering prior damage that might not be undetected or might be detectable during a home inspection. Obviously, Sparkles and her crew are great at what they are. They're probably one of the most thorough home inspection companies I know, but even then they only have so much they can do in 3 hours, and it's not like they can tear off the drywalls and put it back the way it was. So we can also look for anything hidden that maybe wasn't on a seller's disclosure or they just forgot about it. So sellers can benefit from this as well by seeing if there's any errors on the report before they put the house on the market. And that report might even reveal a claim that they themselves didn't even know about. So for example, if you have a seller that bought the house 3 years ago, is about to list it right now, there could be a claim downstream from 5 years ago from the seller before them that could have been repaired. It might not have, but they don't know. We can just see what that was and kind of eliminate all that guesswork out of it. And on to number 4, how do you get one? And reports can be obtained several different ways. Yeah, you can go online and pay $20, but there's a better way, and here's how you do it. As soon as your clients enter into option periods, have them contact a broker and have them run some quotes. And here it is. You just ask them for a copy of the clue report. It's faster, easier, and most importantly, it's free. It doesn't cost anything, and there's no obligation with it. It's just part of it. They're happy to do that. Now, that was pretty much everything I wanted to talk about for the most part, but I did want to share one last golden nugget with you all. Now, for most people, home insurance is often viewed as an afterthought in the home buying process, but when you shift your perspective, it can actually be one of the most important components, and it can potentially lead to higher commissions for realtors. So to clarify, when you're getting a mortgage, the lower your home insurance rate costs, the higher the mortgage you can qualify for, which in some cases can translate into a higher purchase price. And the higher the purchase price, the higher the commission that for both agents on each side, both the buyer's agent and the listing agent as well. Now, if you already have a broker that you're working with, that's great. That's awesome. But if you don't, I love an opportunity to partner with you. And if you have any questions or just don't want to know, I'm happy to do it. My name is Justin Chacol, and I'm here to help. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Justin. That was very cool and informative. Y'all make sure to copy his info down, and you'll be able to get some quotes from Justin. And so last, we have Priscilla Miller. She's the development director at Trinity Habitat for Humanity. And they have a really cool program for first-time homeowners, or even if you just need some more info about owning your current home.
That's right. Hello. Thank you. Again, my name is Priscilla Miller with Trinity Habitat for Humanity. So once our homeowners are in their safe and affordable home, we try and help them so they don't have to call homeowners insurance or the warranty. We show them how to maintain their home. And last year, we gave Shelby and Elizabeth McCoy a nice tour of our new Habitat U, which was sponsored by the Bowden family, who you probably know from Holy Guacamole. And they thought this would be a great gift for first-time home buyers. So you can, instead of just offering it just to Habitat's homeowners, we decided we're going to open it up to the public, college students, new homeowners. And the Greater Fort Worth Real Estate Association bought a whole bunch of gift certificates from us, which was a great donation. and wanted to give them out as gifts. So basically, you'll take this class, it's once a month on a Saturday, and it shows you how to maintain your home. Basics like putting in your, making sure you have a fire extinguisher, making sure you know how to use your fire alarm. If you're getting new furniture and moving it in, whoops, you put a hole in the drywall. Habitat U teaches you how to fix that, how to use your air conditioning and your heating system, how to use caulk, things that will help maintain your home. One of your biggest investments is what Habitat U is going to teach you about. And again, it's once a month on Saturdays. You can go to trinityhabitat.org/HabitatU to sign up. And in the notes, there is a video of our Senior Director of Construction talking more about it. And she's wonderful. But also when you sign up for Habitat U, you get a nice little homeowner's manual that talks you through everything. How to shut things off when necessary, a heating pump, weather stripping, all sorts of things that help you maintain your home and not have to call, a plumber, hopefully, or the AC guy, because you yourself know how to fix it. Of course, for those bigger issues, you're going to have to call the insurance, homeowners insurance, or the warranty. But we're here to help you maintain one of your biggest investments. And we'd love for you as new homeowners to take our class. Again, that's trinityhabitat.org/HabitatU. And my name's Priscilla if you have questions, but I am in the development area. And so I'm a fundraiser, but I can always share your questions with Christine. But it's a great class. And I've had to fix drywall a couple of times myself. And I was glad that I know how because of Habitat U. That's all I have.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you.
It's a really cool program, and you hands-on, right?
Right.
They have a little house there basically that's a classroom, and you can learn a whole lot about your house right there, in the classroom, which I think is really cool. And so if you are a realtor, or if you know a realtor, tell them about the GFWAR program. And it's a nice little closing gift if you're a first-time home buyer, or just need some more information and to learn. It's never too late to learn. So we'll open it up for questions if anybody has any. And I think, Angela, you answered the question pretty well about Maria's, about the home warranty cost. I find about the minimum, these days is $500, and it is negotiable, as a lot of things are in the contract, almost everything. But it's something that, as you say, in this market, it's one more thing to ask for the seller to pay. It comes off their bottom line basically, and but you can buy one. You can yourself, you can buy one at any time, right, Angela?
Absolutely. At least one company that I know of, I'll be the expert on my company. We're actually allowing buyers to purchase outside of closing for up to 90 days from closing. And you can also spread the payments, spread the payments out over 12 months, just because of the market situation we're in.
Yeah, that's really cool. Nice to be able to divide it up like that. Yeah, and in chat we put a link to the Habitat U video and class information, and you can check that out. We love what Trinity Habitat does. We're huge supporters, and a lot of us have worked on some homes, so it's always fun to help construct a house. But if anybody have any questions, raise your hand, unmute, or put it in chat. And if not, then we'll see you next Tuesday and we'll be talking about the closing process. We'll have several title companies that are involved with GFWAR, and they will kind of talk to you about wrapping it all up. And that'll be the end of our series, and all the videos will be available online to, look at your leisure, and whenever you might have forgotten something or have a question, and you can get everybody who's participated their contact info. And that's it. So if I don't see any other questions, I thank you all for coming, and appreciate your participation.
Thanks for the
Good luck
opportunity.
finding a house.
Yes, thank you. Hopefully everybody got
you.
what they needed from the home inspection quadrant.
Yeah. Thank you, Sparkles.
It was nice for me to hear the difference between the warranty and the insurance, because I'm sure my husband knows that, but I didn't. So
Right.
that was very helpful. Yeah.
Yay.
All right, Alexis, I know this is somebody's favorite. As a former home inspector, I've heard this all the time. Did it pass inspection?
Did it pass inspection? That's not a thing.
Yeah. It's
It's not a thing. It's like, that's probably a really common question that our inspectors get all the time, though, is did it pass inspection? It's not really a thing when it comes to home inspections. However, is it up to code is a whole nother thing. And the housing and building codes change every 3 years. So that is one thing that you want to be checking on your inspection report. So a lot of times we'll go through, and the house will be built, obviously, most of the time more than 3 years ago. So it won't be up to code according to the last 3 years. However, it's okay depending on what the code was the time the house was built. So if that was the code of the year that the house was built, then yes, it's technically up to that code. It's okay because it wasn't required to be up to today's codes. However, if you're going to renovate, if you're going to do anything with the electrical or the foundation or anything like that, plumbing, you do want to make sure that it is up to today's code if you're changing it and fixing it, repairing, renovating, etc. from here out.
Yeah.
If I can just piggyback on that, when a contractor comes out, a licensed contractor comes out, that's going to be your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. If they have to do a replacement of any kind, then they are required by their license to bring everything to current code. So that is part of the shared cost that I kind of, it gets really deep into that, but that's something you can expect. The home warranty in that case would cover to the equipment, the labor, permits, certain things that we're going to cover. And then whatever the government says needs to be brought up to date on the house is going to be the responsibility of the homeowner. Very important information to have when you're looking at any part of a replacement.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's
if you
just so many
missed,
different aspects of
Yeah.
how you look at everything, and different wording of how the inspector says one thing versus the home warranty comes out versus the licensed professional in the foundation or the electrical or plumbing comes out and says it, because we all have our different regulations on how we're supposed to inspect things and bring them up to code, et cetera. So just communication with the people that come into your home and with your agents is key.
If you
Shelby,
missed,
these
a lot of-
videos, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna
These
say, if you missed-
videos might be really helpful for our new homeowners. I
Yeah,
mean,
please
I think
share
they
them.
would be very,
Yeah. And I was going to say, if you missed, the other point of confusion often is appraisal versus inspection.
Mhm.
And last week we did cover appraisal. So if the lenders talked about appraisal is really putting value on the home, what the value, if the bank will loan the money, whereas the inspector is really looking for physical issues with the home, and they're going to give you a report on that. So, but again, we're pretty much done on time. So I thank you all. Shoot us a question if you have any, and then we'll see you next week.
thank you.
Good afternoon.
Bye, guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks.